What up, y'all's? Episode 3 of the Grateful Nerd Show, or whatever they called it on Cultivation Conversation a couple weeks ago.
I'll take anything. I'll take it all.
Yeah,
Whatever.
just throw a bunch of words at us, and that's the name of the show.
Hey
Put
man.
the words in whatever order tickles your fancy.
Yep. Yep. What's going on, man? It's good to see you. It's been a little while.
Yeah, hectic weekend, right? I think for both of us.
Yeah. As you can see, I'm not in my normal location. I've now been
Yep.
relocated. So
So
another
yeah,
another another week out on the road for me. So
work, that's fun,
yeah.
especially on a Sunday, being in a hotel.
Yeah, man. It's the things we do for putting food on the table, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. We took the little one to the county fair yesterday,
Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah.
so that was fun. He loves going on
Yeah.
the rides and everything. They have a
That's
little kids
awesome.
roller coaster. He's like, I go on it by myself.
That's awesome, man. Did y'all get any of the normal like fair food or like the uh fried Oreos or any of that kind of
Oh
stuff?
yeah, yo, they
That
had so
stuff.
much good stuff. So we ended up just getting fried dough balls, which was also
Yeah.
my nickname in college. There's a lot of good food there though. They sell this thing that's like a giant mozzarella stick that's breaded. It's like, but it's on a stick. It's like this
Oh
big.
shit. Guaranteed to not
But
shit
any
for a
good,
week.
right? That's exactly what my mother-in-law said.
Yeah, man. You ain't shitting for a week, brother.
Yeah. So, but I had a stomach ache, so I didn't eat anything. I just went on rides. We won a giant inflatable pickle.
Nice.
It, it's not Pickle Rick. It's just a pickle
No.
with like real cracked out face. He's like,
I guess they didn't take the cue from the dispensaries and all that stuff that are using all the Rick and Morty paraphernalia stuff.
right. Got to get on that.
Got to get on it.
Dispensaries, head shops, county
Head
fairs,
shops, yep,
all
yep.
all Rick and Morty stuff.
All Rick and Morty. That's it.
It was cool. We saw a lot of animals too, which was great.
Nice,
But it
nice.
was fun. I mean, I've been going to that fair, I think, since I was little. I'm pretty sure the rides are like falling apart. Like I'm pretty sure it's the same rides from
Probably the
when I
same
was little
ones. Yeah,
too.
yeah, yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
there's like duct
Absolutely.
tape on them and shit. But
Oh
yeah,
man, I
my in-laws live across the street from the fairgrounds, so like
oh
free
right on.
parking. Just walk right over. It's nice.
Can't beat it. Can't beat it. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, I know the one thing we want to talk about here is we've got that grow along. We're gonna have a
Yes, sir.
mycology grow along over on our Discord, and it's kind of loosely fit right now. We're working it for sometime in September. So if y'all are interested, come join our Discord. There's going to be more information going on over there. So jump on over the Discord and we can talk about it.
Yeah, head on over. We'll put a invite to the Discord in the show notes or in the description wherever you're getting this.
Yeah, and if you want to get bombarded with any time that we post a video, all of our information is always up there, so you won't miss our wonderful content that we're putting out.
Yeah, because yeah, we're kind of spread out a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's
So
I think like most places they have their Instagrams and stuff, but we've got our own, right? We've got our each individual ones that we have, and I think Discord really is a great community. So I
definitely.
think being able to get people, I love Instagram for us being able to share what we have, but definitely getting over the Discord I think is where you're able to really get all those people together and have an actual community. It seems to work out better for me at least, and I know a lot of our crew that we hang out with definitely feels that same way.
Yeah, I'm a big chatter and texter too, so I like having it be real time as opposed to other social media where it's comments and everything.
Yeah, yeah. You tend to get things lost, or there's the Instagram's doing their thing where they're banning people for who knows what, and they're blocking them on things. So it's a lot easier to keep up with everybody for sure.
Oh yeah, one thing I wanted to say about that, because it's just no confirmation, but it's a hunch. Because a lot of the people that I see saying that their account is getting spam flagged on Instagram, I don't think it's necessarily for cannabis. I think it's because the cannabis community has so many giveaways where I think
Yeah,
if you're constantly adding people in comments, it thinks you're a bot. So
okay.
I if you're
Guilty by
worried about that,
association.
right? No, if you're worried about that on Instagram, either make a burner account to enter contests with, or
Oh, that's a
just
good
be
idea.
very picky about what contests you enter, what raffles you enter on Instagram. Because if you hit like 20 giveaways in a row, all Instagram doesn't realize that you're entering a giveaway. It looks like you're just spamming people
Spam.
in
Yeah,
comments
yeah,
over and over.
yeah.
Just a little
Little
tip.
little tip. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So also I'm wearing my Can shirt today.
And it's looking sharp, dude. We can't quite see what's just below the can. Is that a
All right.
zombie? What's even going on
Let
with
me
that?
let me tell the story then. So
All right, please.
I got hit up by Can. Much respect to the Don.
Don.
I want him to put a hit out on me or anything.
Yeah, you don't mess with
He's
the
the
Don.
Don.
The dawn of germination, as they'd say.
So he said he said, "I want to buy you a shirt." And then I said, "Cool, I like horror movies and My Little Pony." So then
Man,
so obviously you know, I assumed he was sending me a Can logo shirt, but when I got it, it has the zombie My Little Pony on it, and I love it.
that's that's freaking awesome, man. And that's got to be the only one out there. So that's fucking awesome, man. Too
It's
cool.
definitely the only My Little Pony thing I own. I was just he called my bluff on that.
Yeah, right. He's like, fine, hey, that's what you're into,
You
dude.
know what?
I got you.
I agree. Friendship is magic.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, Don's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and yeah, I love it. It's my first time wearing it. I wanted to debut it on the show.
I know, man. I should have rocked mine. He also sent me one, and I don't know if I can't off the top of my head if I ever told him what my favorite color was. But he sent me a red shirt, so maybe it
Oh,
was just because of my red shirt on my logo. Um, but I appreciate you, Don. Thank you.
yeah, thank you. I almost wasn't able to wear this because I put it on and then I went out and mowed the lawn.
Oh no.
And then my son sprayed me with the hose, and I was just
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh!" So I ran
Yep.
inside, threw it off,
That's great.
ran back
Yeah.
outside, finished mowing.
Too funny.
Oh, damn.
Too funny.
So, Alabrije's got drop coming up.
Yeah, man. So I guess it's coming up on the August 4th. He's doing the Tangy 2.0, and that's going to be coming out with I think there's 4 varieties there, so that'll be pretty sweet. And it's his normal, 4:20 Eastern Standard Time. So yeah, don't miss it. It's going to go quick. I think there's a lot of special stuff that's coming out with it. I think he said like a pre-order for a hoodie. The first
Oh, cool.
30 something come from or have a glass pipe from this guy down in Virginia that does awesome you know glass work. I've actually got a
Yeah.
couple of his pipes. So there's going to be a lot of cool things, man. So don't miss it. They go quick.
Plus, your mom.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. There will be some of Nama Potter's plant markers in there as usual. So pretty
So I'm
excited.
really excited for this because I know that Tangy is a beloved strain in the community, and I didn't start growing in until after the first drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've never, and no one's given me seeds for it. I haven't traded for it.
It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. The only time I got my hands on the F2 that he released originally was when I got his Tangy Lifestyle painting from one of the drops. And it came with 3 of them. And I haven't even ran one yet, but I did send one out to somebody out in the community, so it's out there. From what I understand, it may be part of a preservation project at some point. So
Oh, cool.
be excited with that. I figured it'd go to a good home, so it needed to
That's
go.
awesome.
But so there's that, and yeah, man, I kind of jumped on the Elabrije train a little bit later than I'd like to admit. But yeah, my first strain that I ever got from him was a Sour Perezoso, and I wanted to get both of them that drop. I think it was that one in the balanced Gortuga. I ended up not getting that one, and so, but yeah, I've been hooked on him ever since then. He's got some good stuff.
We'll talk about it later, but my lousy Chewbacca is insane looking right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
So also before we wrap up our announcements for the episode, we just wanted to say head over to our merch store. We have t-shirts, pins, stickers, reusable shopping bags. I think we
All
got
the
like
good stuff.
pillows and stuff. But yeah, we'll put a link in the description and in the show notes. But it is tpublic.com/user/grateful nerd.
Yeah, and it's actually the one thing I did want to mention with it too. I mean, jokingly, we looked at the website just before we came on here, and we found that there was stuff on sale, right? And I do
Yep.
notice that with that website, they do stuff. They do put stuff on sale occasionally. So if you didn't
Like a
want
couple
to,
times a week usually.
yeah, yeah. So that's
So
definitely it's a cool time to check it out. Keep your eye
yeah,
on it.
definitely wait until it goes on sale. Don't buy anything full price because
Hell
it's
yeah,
literally like every 12 hours there's a sale or something.
yeah. Hey,
But
take advantage.
I really like their shirts a lot. I wear most of the shirts I wear came from that website. So like
Oh, no kidding.
my Rancid shirt, my Ghostface eating the ice cream cone, that's from that
Yeah, yeah.
website.
Nice.
So there's a lot of cool stuff on there, especially if you like weird movie references and TV references. There's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I haven't dove down too far to see what kind of stuff they have, but it definitely seems like a cool site.
Yeah, they're and the shirts hold up well because like I wear them
Yeah,
all the time.
I
I'm
think
almost at the point where that's exclusively what I wear, just because
no
they have
kidding.
the most fun designs and stuff.
They do have good quality. I mean, I think the only shirt that I have from them is actually your shirt, the Ayo What Up.
Hey, yo, what up?
That first one that I got when we first started, when you first started doing the podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it is good quality for sure. So
Oh yeah.
shameless
Also,
plug.
speaking of the Nerd Gross podcast, I wasn't able to upload this week because we ran out of hosting. We didn't realize that we should have upped our hosting when we started the second show. So I went to
Yeah.
go record this week, and it was like, you have 11 minutes left for the month. And I was like, what? Okay.
Damn.
So yeah, we're probably gonna upgrade the hosting so I can start putting out the episodes
Yeah,
back to back like we have been.
we're working on it. It's figuring out all the logistics, getting everything worked together. I think we're doing a pretty good everything's kind of gone pretty good so far. So of course you're bound to get
Yeah,
some hiccups, and I'm sure the people all missed to the Nerd Gross podcast this week.
right. I know.
We're
So
all
much. I actually
disappointed
had
we
a lot.
didn't get to hear your voice.
I know, right? I actually had a lot to talk about this week too.
Yeah,
So we're mostly
yeah,
just gonna talk about it on here today.
that's it. That's it. Oh,
So
I
this week,
did see.
oh yeah,
Speaking of that, there was this just popped up in my head, man. There's a out in I think it's like Texas, dude. The Misfits are playing with Jerry Owen, like all the original crews getting on there, man. Like I don't know why this just came up, but I just thought of it. I was like, oh man, that would be such a cool show because with our last cover on our show was the Misfits logo.
yep.
Of
For
course,
the
but with our
I think it was Collection Part 2.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
was the
yep,
album cover.
with the skull and the yellow background, and
Yep.
so yeah. Yep. That just popped in my head, so sorry I had to
Yeah.
say it, but yeah, that show's coming up. If you're in the Texas area, don't fucking miss that.
Yeah. We speaking of, when we were at the fair last night, there was a vendor that was selling pickle pizza, and
Really?
so it had like pickles on top, like pepperoni, and then the sauce was like a herb mayonnaise sour cream type of thing. But the poster advertising it said pickle pizza, but it was in like Misfits font.
Oh, really?
Well, I was like, that's really weird.
Yeah, all right.
I
That's
actually saw a kid
my.
wearing Misfit shirt last night too. I was like, that's pretty
I
cool.
love it. I love it. They're from my home state. I'm always they're one of my favorite bands, man. So always rep the Misfits.
Yeah. So this week, or is it? I think last weekend, you put out your new breeding project video where you chose which of the two males you were keeping.
Yeah. So it was kind of at a turning point, um, with the one male was starting to drop some pollen. It was a little further along than the other male, a little bit. It was a little bit taller, and I was kind of at a crossroad of was I going to do two males, let it pollinate the whole room, and then have more, variance in the next generation that I was going to get, or did I want to find one trait in one male and one trait in the other, and which one did I like better? And I kind of talked to a couple people, of course, like I said, Alabrije, BGG. Those are the main guys that they're awesome wealth of knowledge, and they're always willing to share. So I was like, hey, look what I got going on, and what do you think? And they kind of both gave me their own little 2 cents about it, and then I kind of took mine from there. And actually, not too long ago, there was the Crafting Cannabis podcast that had Alabrije, BGG,
Oh yeah, that
and
was a great
Outcast
episode.
on it. Awesome episode. I suggest, if you guys haven't listened to that, the guys over at Crafting Cannabis are really awesome. They've got awesome guests. They actually just had an episode that came out this weekend, this Friday or I'm not sure which day it was,
Yesterday, I
but
think.
yeah, really cool stuff about electro. Um, I don't even know what it's called. I don't mess with any of it, but it was very interesting to hear how knowledgeable that guy was in that field. Whether you think it's a real thing or not, that's neither here nor there. But it seems very, very cool, and there's people, you know, you can see that it works in certain occasions for sure. So very interesting.
I actually haven't finished that new episode yet,
No,
but
it's good.
that's
It's good.
actually what I'm doing after we stop recording
Oh,
because
awesome.
it's garbage night. So I like to I have to break
Garbage night
down
and crafting.
cardboard. Yeah,
There you
basically.
go.
I'm
But
always
yeah,
trying to get like, especially with like spring cleaning, I'm still trying to get all the like recyclables and trash out of my house. So on garbage
yeah.
night, I put on a podcast and I take my time like crushing cans, breaking down cardboard, like all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Hey, there you go. But yeah, to back to what we were talking about. The so I ended up deciding, and it's funny, kind of. So I'm taking notes, just in my phone, and whenever I
Yeah.
reference one of the plants in the in my room, um, because each one has a different colored cover on there, I just say, the camo one looked like this today, or I noticed this on this day. So like all of them, instead of I'd initially been like, I'm going to do number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Um, but if I just do, hey, there's camo, then I could go back to my photos, and then there's no guessing like which one was which again. So, so
Shout out to New Moon, by the way.
yeah, New Moon is all. Yep, yep. I'll tell you, he's got some good stuff. And he's got those awesome Night Owl collab that they did together. Some really cool stuff. So
Yeah,
he's doing
I don't
good
remember
things.
who I saw who had it, but I need to get a one of those Night Owl Funko Pops.
Oh no,
Usually
I haven't.
someone who had that.
Oh, the little, like, there was little figurine type things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I need
yeah,
one of those.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, those look cool, man.
That's
Yeah,
like the nerdiest grow shit I've seen since I started growing.
he's got all kinds of cool merch, man. I mean, he just got he knows what he's doing for sure. But yeah, so we ended up choosing one male. It ended up being the one that was originally shorter, um, but it had a nicer stem rub. And I think from all the knowledge that we've kind of just from listening to people talk, it seems like that seems to be a good sign. I didn't have quite as much of a stem rub on the taller one, though. When I first walked in there, I was like, "This is the one that I like because it's nice, big, and tall." So it was like, flashy in my face. I was like, "That's got to be it. It's gonna be perfect." And then after looking at it a little bit more, then we ended up choosing the one. So, but everything else is looking good. The girls are starting to grow pretty well. The ones in the bed are not doing quite as hot. They're a little behind. So it is what it is. But we'll get some seeds.
Yeah, editing that video, it was mad funny to watch you, because like what you guys don't see, the audience, is all the stuff I cut out of the video for like from the raw recording, and just watching you like have anxiety and deliberate, and then eventually you're just like, so we're gonna do this. Cut.
Yeah, yeah. Because it was like when I was sitting there, like I had in my mind, like I said, when I first went, because I was gone for like a week for work, and I got back, and I was like, all right, decisions have to be made. So, like I said, that night I was like, that's the one I'm gonna keep. And then I was like, I'm gonna sleep on it. And then I woke up the next morning and got right in there. And that was after I'd already talked to the other people, and then I was kind of leaning the other side, and I was like, do I do both? Like that may be kind of cool as well. And yeah, so it was. I made the decision right there on spot. So yeah, what you guys didn't see was me sitting there like, let's just do it. No turning back.
I do have a question about it. So you're bringing it to F3?
Yeah, so so no. Right now, it is an F1,
Okay.
cross, and I'll be making the F2 seeds. But while I'm also doing that, everything else that's in there, the Mandala effect is technically right. We're going to be doing the cross with that, so that will be F1 seeds for that cross. So yeah, that's the plan as of right now. And once I get all those seeds, I still haven't decided whether I'm going to do a run of um, like the newest drop stuff and kind of get some, my flower head stash back up,
Yep.
and then go back to the project, or because from what I do understand that they say after dry the stuff, dry the seeds, you want to let them sit for a little bit. I don't know exactly the whole reason behind it. But I know they like to say let it sit for a little bit. I guess the germ rate gets a little bit higher. I'm honestly
Okay.
not that sure. So I'm not going to try to speak on it any more of that. But I haven't decided yet. Everything I fly pretty loose with everything that I do in life. So we'll see.
The I did have a question. So if you remember, what, like 6 months ago, BGG made a video for us where he
Hmm.
explained all the different generations of breeding cannabis and gave a
Yeah.
basic breakdown of how breeding works. So I can't remember what he said, but it was something along the lines of either F2 has a lot of variation and then F3 narrows down, or it was F1 has a lot of variation and F2 narrows down. And I was
Yeah.
wondering if that weighed into which male you chose or why you chose to pick one instead of leaving both.
So I know with like say if we were to do like a preservation project, say we wanted to keep as much of um, the different variants that you can have with a cross, right? They say that if you do those open pollinations, you're getting more variabilities, different phenotypes and stuff like that. At least that's from my understanding. When you pick one male the other, right, you're getting that phenotype from that generation, right? And then you're crossing it. So then you're not taking in those other genetics from the other male. So I guess
Okay.
it does narrow it down in a sense. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've got to do far more studying. I know that there is where it's kind of like F1. You get certain traits show from each plant, and then I think as you go further down until you lock in the traits, you start seeing more traits of like the grandparents and stuff like that. But I'll be honest with you, I am not that well versed in it to rattle them off to you and give you sound advice, because then I'll sound really stupid.
So that actually brings up a good point. One thing I was going to talk about, or like my topic of the week on Nerd Grows this week, was going to be educating yourself about cannabis, and all based around the fact that I've recently found out that if you have a Spotify Pro account, you get
Hmm.
access to the audiobooks. And a
Yeah,
lot
we
of
were
us
talking.
use Audible, but Audible's like $15 a credit, like so per book. But a lot of the books that I would buy on Audible are part of my Spotify subscription. And there are
Okay.
so many like mycology books, cannabis breeding books, cannabis growing books. So I've just been ripping through a bunch of those, and I listen to them on 1.2 times speed.
I can just see your brains just growing. You're just sucking everything
Bruh.
in.
Well, I'm more of like a hands-on learner,
Yeah.
so I don't really pay attention when I listen to the books. I just kind of like let the information just like flow through my head. And
Yep.
then because it doesn't really matter until I start doing it. and
Sure.
then I can
Sure.
narrow down my research.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't really sit there and study. I just let it almost like background noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, it
then I'll
makes
be like,
sense.
"Oh yeah, I remember those 8 things I heard today." Kind of.
Something stuck.
Yeah, and then especially if you're listening to like multiple books about growing, you're hearing the same thing over and over
Sure.
from different people, and or at least you're learning more about the concepts. But
Yeah.
I tend
Yeah.
to
No.
learn better that way, where I just hit myself with a shitload of information, and then the learning doesn't really happen until I start, like, until I get
Yeah.
my hands on it, and then
Yeah, and that's there's been a few series that I've tried to do like listening on Spotify, but I do find that where if I'm trying to listen to something that I want to learn, then I focus on that so much where it's like I can't pay attention to it, then it gives me anxiety, and then I'm just like, all right, I'm not gonna mess with it. But actually, I I am one of those people where I can have it online, like I have the resources that I can just go look on there. That's great, and I love it because it's right there at my fingertips. But I like having a book. I like having it like,
yeah.
where I can just like it's off in the corner. I can put a little note in there or whatever, and then flip it open. And actually, I've got one of those that I've been looking through it here and there. BGG recommended it to me. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically one of those beginner cannabis learning for making seeds and stuff like that. So it's got a lot of the different showing you how all that works, the different generations and all the names for everything. It's a lot of information to take in, and
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time to learn, man. And it's yeah, I'm exactly like you. I have to actually be doing it, and I think that's another reason why I like doing all these videos that we do and putting things together. And I'm a hands-on person that has to do it, or otherwise, just watching something or just reading it is going to go in one ear or just be gone.
Yeah, and what one thing I'm noticing about listening to the audiobooks as opposed to because I'm a big YouTube guy. I watch YouTube hours and hours a day.
Yeah,
Like I watch it way more than TV or movies.
sure,
And with the audiobooks, it's just like raw information, which I like because then there's no ads, there's no sponsorship bias, no affiliate bias.
true. Yeah,
I mean, there is to an extent because the author can still be biased, but
sure.
it's a lot more dense information as opposed to
Yeah,
watching like a 10 tips for adjusting your grow light.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, and I say that 8 minutes after we plugged our merch shop. So
All right, yeah, right.
fuck whatever we have to say.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust a word we say anyway. So
Nah. But nah, in our videos where we do like how-to videos, we really do try our best to tell you our level of experience and what
mhm,
we're experimenting with and what we're not good at yet. Because it can be off-putting where you watch a video where the person is super confident and then the thing they're doing ends up not really working that well.
right,
Or
yeah, yeah,
even not I haven't seen it in cannabis yet, but in a lot of like life hacks or like stuff around the house, a lot of those videos are fake and don't even work.
yeah. It's
And
for
then
the
they get
views.
all
They're
these
just trying to, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
It's like, "You should know you can run all your house's electricity on a coat hanger." You're like, "What?"
What? All right. Well, the
Yeah, you
internet said
plug
it,
it
so we
into an
might as well
egg.
do
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, that's the one thing. Like I think we touched on it on one of the episodes, saying we just enjoy we both enjoy, like, you enjoy this editing side. I really enjoy getting my hands on things and building these things, and it works out, man. And I have a lot of fun because I want to do these things, and I think it's like a level where it's like I do worry about like putting those videos out, like, oh man, this may come off stupid, but it's like I'm sharing
As long as you're
something.
honest about it.
Yeah, I'm sharing a part of me, and I don't think that I've ever come off as instructing, other than if it's like literally like I'm literally putting something together and I have to instruct, right? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do this, right? And I never want to come off as like you know I'm preaching, or I'm doing this like this is how you got to do it. Like I'm just trying to share what I'm doing, and I'm still learning myself. And I think it's cool because I can tell you for certain that there's people that do see the videos and they reach out to me like, hey, maybe you should try this, or they say like, hey, I do it like this. And
That's a lot of the comments we get on YouTube as
yeah,
well.
and
It's
and I
awesome.
enjoy it because maybe the way I'm doing it is just the way that I learned it, and I've kind of perfected my little imperfect way. But someone else that can see it from a different angle and say, hey, I used to do it like that, but we're doing it this differently now. So it's cool, man. I enjoy it for that learning. It's definitely it putting it out there brings it back to me, and I think that's definitely something I enjoy with it too.
I also had to cut a part out of that video where you couldn't stop burping into the mic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is parts where it's like, man, I'm doing something, I just like I gotta like gather myself for a second. I'm like, cut, cut it, like,
It was like you were like bent over. It was like that scene in Superbad where Seth Rogen's just like, it's just beer.
it's, yeah, yep.
You're just
So
like, cut that out, dude. Ugh.
yeah, and it might even be funny. Like I remember with some of our other videos, like with the bird that I have,
Yeah.
getting in there. I love those little bloopers, man. Fucking make fun of me. I don't care. We'll make those little
Well,
funny reels.
well, the thing is, the I do the same exact shit, but since I'm doing the editing, you never see it.
Right, right.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm the only one that sees both sides of what
yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing.
Oh,
The
it's funny too because you'll mention like ticks or stuff that I have, or like you'll notice that I do a certain thing a certain way, or uh, it's funny, man. Like I don't notice I do those things, but you see the video more than I do. You're like, yeah, you definitely do every time.
yeah, because I'm sitting there like frame by frame looking at it, and I'm like, that motherfucker just tapped his knee for the eighth time. And
What
it's
can
like
I say?
there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like you can't help but notice it. Or I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
even a lot of how I edit, I don't even look at the video as much as I look at the sound waves to see where like your sentences start and end. And I'm at the point where I can tell if it's you or me talking just by looking at the sound waves because I like
That's that's a whole nother
our like
level.
vocal patterns are
No
different.
kidding. Yeah,
Even
yeah.
BGG too.
No
Like
kidding.
like if you gave me like sound waves of me, you, and BGG, I could tell them apart.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, you also made a airlift video this week, which I actually didn't even know was a thing. I figured with compost tea, you just like wooden spoon stir it in and call it a day.
Yeah, I mean, I guess of course, there's different like certain people do certain things different ways, and the one that I've always known was to use some sort of air, circulating the water around because you're wanting to keep all that stuff um, not anaerobic, right? We want aerobic stuff. That's what we're trying to get. So circulating it like that is going to be far more beneficial for them than just letting it sit. And I guess some people are like, so I know for me, when I originally started doing it, I used an air stone, and the air
Yep,
stones would get really gunky after like just sitting in there for 12 hours.
I
You'd
can
pull it
see
out, and
that.
there'd be like this little film all over it.
Yeah.
And one of the downfalls, I think, of what got like if I had used a bigger pump for that air stone that I had, it may have worked, but I didn't like how dirty it would get. So that's when I was like, I've got to do something. I saw online they have like these wands that come down and then had like a little circle, and there'd be like little holes in it, and you just pump air through it, and effectively it'd be the same thing. It'd be like a little bubbler. Um, because they say that I guess you want to be a little more delicate because what we are trying to do is multiply these microbes in there, right?
Oh, is that
And
actually the
th-
purpose of it? Is to
that's
breed it out a little bit more?
from my understanding. Yeah, you're giving some sort of compost, and you're giving them a food source and stuff like that, and that's kind of what you're doing. And I guess
Okay.
I mean, there is technically, and again, I don't know much about it, but there of course there is going to be some sort of MPK value, but from my understanding, at least when you're brewing those teas, that's more so what you're doing. And
Okay.
being
I just assumed it was for like a solute solvent kind of thing, like doing the
like water
aeration
soluble.
like
Yes.
helps it dissolve better. That's what I thought it was for.
Yeah,
but
man.
I
I
don't
mean,
know
maybe
anything
it.
about this, so
Yeah. That's at least from my understanding. So maybe I'm completely wrong, and we'll use this as another good learning time, and someone will chime in and say, "Hey, no, you idiot.
yeah.
This is
You're
what it
thinking
is."
IMOT.
Yeah, yeah. So
We're talking about IMO 7.
yeah, right.
IMO 7 is actually just the vapor that kills you on contact. Ugh,
But yeah, man, it was something that I wanted to build. I had just gone to my local grocery store, and I was like, I saw that they had one of those bubblers, and I was like, I'll just go buy it so I don't have to make it. And I got there, and they
yeah,
didn't have them anymore. And of course, the guy behind the desk was like, "Well, let me find what you're looking for." And he's like, he's going to get it for me and this and that. I was like, "Dude, don't even worry about it. Like, it's not a big deal. I don't need it." So I was like, and I saw a video of someone just putting together one super easy, and I was like, I've got all the tools I need. I just need, you know, less like $20 in material, and I can build it. So
yeah,
we built it,
yeah. It
and
looks
it
pretty
was fun.
simple to put together and everything. Yeah,
It works really well. I haven't tried making a tea with it yet, um, but I'm gonna do it pretty soon, and I'll let you know how that goes.
yeah, and it probably won't get as dirty, right? Because it's just continually flowing through a PVC pipe.
Yeah, so I guess with pumping the air in there, it's just kind of creating like a vacuum that's bringing that air up. And I didn't glue any of it together, so I can literally take every single piece apart, soak it in something if I need to.
Yeah,
I don't know how dirty they get, but I imagine this is definitely the more effective way of a
just
pump
make
thing.
mop water in it and then run it
Yeah,
to
right.
clean it.
That's great. Too
Ah,
funny.
so let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Uh-oh.
We got hella jelly clones from Johnny.
I listen. I'll go. I will go ahead and throw myself under the bus. I you know, I was really excited for that, and I was going to grow it, and you know I did her dirty. I didn't want to. I didn't want to put it in my room just because it was a plant that was outside. I just didn't want to take the chance with what I had going on downstairs. So she was in a different location, and I didn't take care of her well, and she got overheated, and she's gone. So my my hella jelly is done.
I know you sent me a picture of it and it was all short. It was like, please kill me. Just
Yeah,
end
yeah.
it. Please end it.
I felt so bad, man. I just kind of held it up. It was just limped. It was like I was like, all right, dude, you got to make us proud now.
Just like,
Yeah, it
uh,
was sad. It was very sad. I'm sorry, Johnny. If you're listening to this, I'm
yeah.
sorry I treated her like that.
Can't believe you did it like that.
Yeah.
Well, you also drove it to my house behind your ear.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, look, she was doomed for the look. I never said I knew what I was doing or I was gonna treat him right. All I said is I would
No,
take him.
I didn't either. I definitely think I cut them too big. I should have made them smaller.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Hmm. But yours is doing a lot better than mine is. I can tell you that.
Yeah, so I took two
Yes.
and I put them in a little seedling starter thing
Okay.
with the rooting powder and everything. And then I put it in I set up my 2x2 to be a veg tent. So I just have it like super humid in there. I got dome over it.
Okay.
And I got to a point where I couldn't see any roots, but one of them was dying. And then I like pushed up on the bottom of the other one and it like the soil all came out compacted together.
Yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't see any roots on the outside though. But since the other one was dying, I was like, all right, let me put this into an actual like I transplanted the one. It was probably too early, but I don't know what I'm doing. I
Hey.
was just like just it got to the point where both of them weren't looking that great and I was just like, all right, I think I need to pick one and just nurture one of them. But
Yeah,
it's
I mean
looking good now.
No, well, that's good. Yeah, it's they're tough, man. Trying to, I mean, this is the first time you're ever rooting a clone, and some people don't have luck with it, and it can be a hard thing. So I
Rooting a clone
commend
is
you.
my first time cutting a clone, rooting a clone. This is the first
Yeah,
time I've ever touched the photo period.
yeah. So you're doing a whole lot at once, man. So I definitely give it to you. You've at least got one that's still holding on, and I think what we're at like 2 weeks. So I feel like
Yeah.
if it's still doing okay, and you're at 2 weeks now, you should be able to pull this through.
It's still today's the first day where I was like, it's not growing or anything, but I'm like, you look better than you did yesterday.
Yeah, it's just
Where
getting that root system and starting to go out, and it's like, hey, we're a plant now, not just a
eh,
cut off branch.
yeah, but yeah, it's doing good. I actually was able to one of my squash plants uh got snapped in half, and I was
Oh
able
no!
to clip it and reroot it. Or no, it wasn't squash, it was green beans. But I actually pulled
Oh
green
no
beans
kidding!
off of it yesterday,
Oh no kidding!
and I was able
Dang.
to I just like cut it where it snapped and just like pulled it out, swapped it in.
That's great. Just quick little change. She's gonna be all
But I
right.
did it. It didn't get as tall as the other plants, but I got green beans off it.
That's cool, man. And look, that just goes to show you, a plant's gonna want to live, man. It's gonna do anything it can as long as you give it like the, not necessarily the bare minimum, but if you help it out a little bit, it's gonna do something. It
Yeah.
wants to live. That's
So I'll
cool.
tell you about my plan for this clone, and that'll lead into our indoor grow updates.
Yeah, yeah.
So my plan is to make this clone a mother plant, but just to cut another tray of clones off of it.
Okay.
And then once my 4x4, the round I have going in my 4x4, once that finishes, I can
Mhm.
plant all the clones
Yeah.
and then
And you're gonna put those
grow
into your city picker, right? They're into the
into
city pickers.
four city pickers, and then I'll grow
Nice.
4 of them at once.
Are you gonna scrog it out, or you think you'll just leave them, train them up, or what do you think? What are you thinking?
So I have a 2x4 trellis net, and I have a 2x2 scrog net. So I don't have anything for the 4x4. I'd have to build a new net for it, which I mean, that'd
Okay.
be fun. That was
Yeah. Hey,
actually, I
that'd
think,
be cool.
the first non-podcast video I made for our channel
Yeah,
was how to
I
make
remember
a
that.
2x2 scrog.
Yeah, that was. Was it that you ended up? I think Master Yoda is a big one that likes to scrog things out. He's a big. He stands for that stuff for sure. He loves it.
Yeah, it was Master Yoda and somebody else. Someone sent me like a schematic of how to
Yeah,
build it, and then someone gave me like a bunch of tips of how to like space the nails out and what type of thread to get. But
that's
yeah,
cool.
it came out good. I made it hot pink and gray.
Yeah, no, I remember the
So
video. It was an awesome. It
yeah.
was a cool video, man. I actually got to see it in person, man. I love the hot pink line.
Yeah.
It's great. It's awesome, man.
So right now I think it's on day 40 something. I got Frogception V1. It's looking good. It's starting to stack buds on now. It's like
Nice.
at the end of pom pom stage. It's not
Yeah,
super big, but it's like a little bit bigger than average. It's not like my last run I grew 2 monsters, and
yeah, they were big.
yeah, this isn't close to them, but it's bigger than what I usually do.
Okay.
And then I got what do I have? Truck stop boner pills.
Yeah,
So this one I'm kind of worried about because it's on what day 18, 19 right now,
yeah,
and it's like this big
yeah.
around.
I mean,
But today it had like doubled in size since yesterday, so I think it's starting to take off. I just don't know where it's gonna cap out. If it's
yeah,
gonna get
yeah,
like this big and stop.
sure.
But I'll see how far it stretches over the next, I guess, week or so.
I'm glad to hear that it's starting to move a little bit. I know you were definitely worried about it.
Yeah. So
More
it's
BKG.
starting to look good. Yeah. Fuck no, I'm finishing that Frogception. I don't give a fuck. I I can't be 0 and 6. I gotta be at 1 and 5.
Oh man, that's great.
But and then I think today's day 20 for Jazzy Lobaka.
Okay.
and that thing looks like Cousin It. It's
Oh, really?
literally, or it looks like a like Tangela from Pokemon.
Oh man.
I like can't see it. It's literally just like a green sphere of packed leaves. Like
So
it's
that
crazy.
that seems to be if you go over to Alabrije's Discord, there's a few people that have posted over there. Um, Jsaw, his right now is looking like just a big, huge, just like perfectly round bush.
Yeah.
Like it
Yep.
looks pretty wild. So it seems to be. So I guess there's a pheno out there that is round bush style.
Yeah. Yeah, the first morning it happened, it was like a couple days ago, and I just opened the tent. It's like, Jesus Christ, like what is going on? Because it had like 4 leaves. It had like the second set of leaves going, and then I walk in the next day and it's just like, boom.
That's great. That's funny.
I'm like, oh shit. And then in my fourth city picker, still have nothing. I have no idea what's going on.
Which
Maybe my
now
soil's fucked up, or like
now which ones did we try to start in there?
so far I've done 2 Indios Verde and
Okay.
1 Night Owl Outlier Z, and today's like day 4 or 5 for that.
And
So if
you
that doesn't
always
pop in
direct
the
sow,
next day
right?
or two,
You'll soak and then whatever it is that you'll do.
I do whatever fits my timing the best because
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it to a 2 and 2 perpetual, and
Yep.
even now it's like all 4 plant. Well, so now I have 1 in the 40s, 2 in the high teens, and then 1 on 0.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I still have the one half of the perpetual correct.
Yeah. Hey.
Um, so yeah, depending on if it's like, oh, I don't need to plant for a couple of days, I'll do the can, or if I have a
Yep.
day, I'll soak it, or if I'm like, I need to do this right now, then I just direct so
Yeah. Same
just to
same
kind
deal.
of,
Same deal.
even though that
Nice.
doesn't make sense logically because theoretically soaking would like shave time off the germination, so it would
Yeah.
in the end be faster, but I'm dumb. I'm
Yeah.
not.
No,
I
I
I hit a year of growing in 3 weeks.
hell yeah. It's awesome, man. And you've come a long way. I think we touched it on it last show too, man. Like your grow style, your size tents, um, a lot has changed since you're on your within your first year. You're now onto your photo. Your first photo. So you're making big leaps for sure.
I mean, I just copy you, so
That's a bad strategy, brother.
yeah.
Bad strategy.
Well, one thing I don't know if this is a phrase, but it's a phrase that I kind of use when I'm talking to people is like intuitive growing,
Yeah.
where like I don't like go by the book on anything. I just
Yeah.
kind of look at the plants and see what they're telling me
Yeah.
and then
No,
go from
absolutely.
there.
Yeah, I think there's some people can do it. Some people have use those little tools here and there, right? Like I know one thing for me that's how I always did with the watering, right? Was stick your finger in there and see what it felt like, and sometimes I'd be right, sometimes I wouldn't be. So like the Eco Wits, I use that now for it, and but it definitely makes you so you can learn those things. Maybe if you don't have, you're not as good as an intuitive grower, you can use those tools to kind of learn that, right? So, yeah, I definitely think I started off as an intuitive, but I'm starting to see all these little toys they have, and I like them.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love gadgets.
Yeah.
As many little gadgets as I can have. Speaking of, shout out to BGG. He sent me a pre-press.
Oh hell yeah! Nice.
It's square, so I'm excited to try that out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I wonder how do you know how many how much it can fit in there? You press what an eighth at a time, right? So I mean, imagine it.
I do 5 at a time because
Okay.
that's
Okay.
what my press is rated for.
Gotcha.
I, I think it was a couple weeks ago we were talking and you had said check to see how many grams it's rated for, and then I went and
Yeah.
checked and it was 5.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah, that'll be cool. I haven't seen many, and it's not like when you say square, we don't mean like the like a large puck type thing. It's like it looks like kind of like the small hammer ones, right? It's just it's square,
Yeah,
small
instead of
square.
being cylindrical. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm assuming with that you would want a traditional press as opposed to bottle tech for the bag.
Okay. I mean, it's still going to be. It's is it taller than it is wider, or
I don't know. I
hmm,
just don't see it like
standing
sitting
straight
in the
up?
bag in that shape. I'm assuming
Hmm,
you would want to slide it in sideways and then do a traditional press.
I gotcha. Did he give you any tips on how to fold the bags, or is there any kind of way that he does it specifically, or?
No, he literally
No.
just sent me a tracking number. He said, "Hey, I got present coming."
Nice. Hey, can't beat that. Sweet man. Well, I can't wait to hear what you squish with it.
Yeah. So, how's your? You talked a little bit about it with picking the mail, but how's your
Yeah.
indoor grow going? How's all your little side tray of plants
Oh
going?
yeah. Yeah, all the yeah, I've got quite a bit going on there right now actually. All the other plants are doing good. I've got my little bonsais. I do have the drowsy labaka. Unfortunately, I've trained mine out of the bushy phenotype, so it's kind of mine's wrapped. Actually, it's pretty sweet, man. I'm really proud of it that I was able to train it around the drowsy plant marker. So it's
I
just kind
saw
of
that.
coasting.
That was really cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that goes. So I've got that. I've got a handful of different BGG and Alabrije stuff. So there's probably I want to say four of them that are getting ready in probably the next couple weeks. So we'll see. And I can tell you that some of them look um, slightly suspicious that it looks like it may have gotten pollinated by one of the males. I can see like some of the, uh, some of them starting to kind of bulge out a little bit. So who knows? Maybe I imagine they're very underdeveloped seeds, but yeah, we'll see. I got my tallest solo cup that I've ever grown was the Tangy F3. Actually, the
Yeah,
one that's going to be released August 4th. It not as impressive as Howlings. He had some pretty amazing solo cups for that grow off. But I got it to I think it was like 24 inches or something like that. And I
that's
mean
pretty good.
the top cola on that is like that. So uh, pretty proud of myself and didn't have any I used the what was it the blue mat for a very short time, and then the
Yeah,
blue
I
mat
remember
just was
that.
not keeping up with it enough. So I had to just put it inside a bucket, and I was just filling up like an inch or so of water, and it would go through that every couple days. So even bottom watering in little solo cups is definitely the way to go.
I
Definitely the
saw
way.
someone on Discord yesterday was talking about what is it? You take like a solo cup and like a little ramekin, and you can make your own mini city picker.
Yeah, I was it Stony that posted it with that
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was really cool, but I guess the way what he was saying was I guess it he had forgotten about it and the water I guess was too low. So it was like the roots had actually grown out of the solo
Out
cup
of the
and
cup.
were like just in the water. So I guess like all the um you know the soil in the solo cup was completely dry. So and he always takes good pictures, so it was definitely a cool shot that he had there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've been thinking about that since he posted it.
Yeah,
Trying to
I
make a
love
mini.
those. I'm telling you, man, that's like, and actually, we just got a new 3D printer. Our 3D printer that we have at the house had junked out, but I know that there's a lot of different online stuff where you can get like different grow gear. They have ones where you can put solo cups on your grow tent pole.
Oh,
Um,
that's cool.
so I'll see if we can print some of those
You'll-
out. And
You could probably get like a cup holder,
yeah,
like a clip-on cup holder, right?
yeah. So you could try some of those, man. It's fun, man. I really do enjoy like I enjoy growing really big plants or as big as I can get them inside earth boxes and whatever. But I've definitely learned to love these smaller pots. Anywhere from like a half gallon and down. They're fun. I mean, of course, you don't get much, and it's more of a challenge and stuff like that. But um, they usually come out pretty good, and you at least have a little bit of an idea of what that may be, and maybe you want to run it again. So I definitely encourage anybody to run little solo cups or small containers for sure.
I just had kind of like a funny idea. All right, so what if you took one of those like pencil organizers that you put in a drawer, because that almost looks like a little city picker, right? And then
Oh,
you could put like tech deck wheels on it, and then put like a like an actual straw in it, and then make
Yep,
a
and we have a
little
patent
cover.
pending on that. So if
Yeah.
anybody gets any idea from the show, it's already in the works. Don't worry about
Oh
it.
no, this is what you do. You take the you know those things that look like shower caps where you put them over Tupperware. You use that for the cover.
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be so funny.
that's awesome.
What else you got going on in your grow, or in your outside garden?
Yeah, I mean, as anybody that watches us over on YouTube, I've had a little bit of a hiatus from the outdoor garden. Not that I've been avoiding it. It's just I've been so busy bouncing back and forth with work. I will admit though that I have neglected it a little bit.
Yeah,
So it's kind of paid its price. I've got the folks at the house, my wife and everybody that are trying to keep up with it. So they can only do so much. Um, but we've had some really good harvests. We've been getting a lot of good pickles, getting a lot
yeah.
of. We did check on one of our 5-gallon buckets of potatoes, and we've got some.
Oh, cool.
Unfortunately, we got hit with the slugs again. So
Again,
the
double
yeah,
slugs.
it was we got a control of it, and then it turned into we were getting rain so much, and I would not be able to get out into the garden, you know, the morning after it rained or whatever, or I wouldn't be able to change the beer out, and the slugs ended up getting all over the plants. At least the stuff in ground. But
Yeah,
it is what it is. We've been getting good harvests. I'm happy with it. We know what to look for next year, and I'm definitely building more raised gardens because I feel like most of my
me too.
plants that were raised up definitely had more. They did a lot better. So raised beds. It's going to be. I'm not. I didn't plant any bumper crops. Bring me through the rest of the season. It's going to be whatever I get out of the garden this year. I'm going to be happy with it. But I now know in my head what I've got to attack for next year. So we'll start building things while the weather's still nice, and then it'll winter over and be ready for next year. So
Yep.
so yeah. But other than that, I think that's it. We've got a bunch of grapes that are starting to come on. So
Oh, that's
and
cool.
yeah, they are Concord. So
Never mind.
the
It's not
other
cool then.
um I guess the Concord I guess is gonna be better for jelly. I kind of wish that we had gotten one that was more like just you know more enjoyable to eat, but
Just
eh,
eating them.
who knows? Yeah, the other grape that we planted did not take, and it died off, so we did not get that grape. But the Concord is growing into its bed because I use used head and foot sections for a bed for it to grow on, right? So
Yep.
the Concord's actually grown onto the other one, so that's its home now. We're not putting another one over there. And then
Damn.
actually, I think we're getting ready to harvest our corn. Most of the corn came out okay. I did have to hand pollinate it, at
Shout
least.
out to Jonathan Davis.
Yeah. um, oh man, but yeah. So yeah, we're doing good. We're doing all right. How about you?
Yeah.
What's your garden been looking like out there?
So I'm basically at the same point where you are. Like some stuff's dying, but it's
Yeah,
like it's time to start shutting
shut it
up
down.
shop. Yeah, for
Yeah.
the summer. So I have my squash. I got one squash off of it, and then I got a
Nice.
second one that was rotted by the time I got to it. And
Yeah.
then like overnight, like all of them died.
Oh really?
And I wanted to say maybe it was an animal because one of them looked like like someone had just like pulled it out and then set it back
Oh,
down.
oh
Like all
bummer.
like the whole root ball was out and everything. So I was like,
Oh
okay,
really?
yeah. So I'm like,
Yeah.
something happened. Maybe my dogs ran through it in the middle of the night by mistake or something. But
Do you guys have moles out there? I know with us we have a lot of moles.
Woodchucks.
Woodchucks.
There's a
okay.
whole family of woodchucks behind my shed, but it's not on my property, so I can't really fuck with them. But what
Bastards.
my dog caught one a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, and then we found another one yesterday. So there's a whole family back there, but maybe I'll just like throw poison over the fence. Nah. There's a guy who lives back there. He has like outdoor cats, so I'm not trying to
Oh,
like
yeah.
put poison on his property or anything.
Yeah, no. Oh,
The
man, that's a bummer,
I
though.
do have some like natural repellent where it's like capsaicin and cinnamon and spearmint
Yeah.
like mixed in water. So maybe I'll try to spray that around that area of the fence.
Yeah, no, I keep telling myself there's that Monster's capsaicin spray. I know he's kind of got his own little recipe that a lot of people in our group like to follow, and I keep saying that I'm gonna make it because from what I've heard, it does great. And I don't know if it would work on them, but definitely for the other pests. But
Yeah.
for whatever reason, I always forget and I never make it.
So I got the green beans are the plants still look good, but the beans that are coming off of it aren't that great anymore. But I
Oh,
did
really?
I got a decent amount. I harvested it I think like twice where I had like probably about like this much in my hands each time.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
And then we have the cucumbers are still raging.
Nice.
Like half of it died and then the other half just kept going. So
Oh, no kidding.
yesterday I pruned it, got rid of all the dead stuff off of it. I took a lot of the vines and I like resituated them so that they were getting sunlight correctly and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's some big ones. There's a really, really big one on there, and I'm gonna try to let it get overripe so I could harvest the seeds.
Okay. Right on.
I
Yeah.
I was watching some videos on how to do that this
Okay.
week.
I might have to I'm gonna have to pick your brain because there's I have a lot of volunteers that came up from last year. And when I was getting the garden ready this year, I kind of we just let everything die in place. And then um when we were getting everything ready, we all just kind of just basically pushed it all off to one side and then kind of distributed all of the mulch around, right? And
Yeah.
there's a bunch of tomatoes that actually popped up all over our yard. So I kind of want to take some seeds from that and use that for next year because they lasted all year outside and came up and doing their thing.
So from what I was learning, specifically for cucumbers at least, is
Okay.
like you let them sit on the vine way longer than you would pick them, like not to the point where they start rotting or dying, but to the point where like you wouldn't eat it anymore.
Yeah.
The ones in the videos I saw were turning like yellow orangey color,
Oh, no kidding.
and then you take them off the vine and then you let them sit inside for a couple of days, and then you can open it up and harvest it.
Huh. No kidding. And then what's the care for the seeds? Do you just you get all the junk off of it? Do you wash it? Do you just lay them out and let it dry, or you haven't gotten that far?
Yeah, I haven't researched into drying that much, but I remember like a couple of videos I watched were like just paper towel dry, like let them sit out for a little bit and then
Okay.
just put them in a envelope.
Right on. Nice.
So I want to try to do that. So like this year being my first year of vegetable gardening and cannabis gardening, it's really about trying to up my skills.
Yeah.
So like I take a lot of risks. Well, or you know what I mean? I'm like I'll
Yeah.
try anything once. I'll be like, all
Yeah.
right,
You might as well.
because you have to get through. There's so many like secondary skill sets that go along with cannabis growing and gardening,
Oh
where
yeah.
it's like, oh, you could spend a whole year just learning about how to be good at pest management,
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
and that's
It's
just one
crazy.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
There's so many different variables with it that it's
So
hard to say that you
yeah,
master anything really because
yeah.
it's always changing. Yeah.
So that's kind of been my philosophy is if I'm gonna fuck it up the first 5 times I do it, then let's get those out of the way, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of
No,
thing.
absolutely. Yeah. Just go balls to the wall right off the bat and say, hey, let's and see what sticks.
Yep. So I'm gonna try to do that. The tomatoes are getting huge. I have one that's almost ready to pick, but the
Nice.
plants themselves are giant, very, very bushy. There were no dead leaves on it, and I like pruned the shit out of it yesterday
Oh,
just
nice.
because they were like blocking, blocking each other, like
Yeah.
blocking the light. It was just like a solid hedge of tomatoes.
Well,
But
hey, at
those
least you
look
do.
good.
You're doing something right.
My watermelon has 2 giant flowers on it. I don't know what's gonna
Nice.
happen, but they're like this big, like
Can you
beautiful yellow flowers.
can you see if they're male, female, or no?
I don't know anything about
No.
that. I just let it go. I have it in an old tire that I filled with
Okay.
soil, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just have been letting the vine uh go out into the yard, and then whenever I mow, I like line it back up against the fence, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
over the next week it'll like wiggle its way back out into the yard. Like,
That's awesome. That's
that's a
awesome.
crazy part about gardening is like even with cannabis, like realizing how much plants move because you're
Oh
looking at
yeah.
them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
yeah. Yeah.
nuts.
It's just like when I'm home, I'm down in my garden once in the morning, once at night, minimum. If say if it's during the week. But when I go away for a couple days or whatever it may be, I come back and I'm like, holy shit! Like you
Yeah.
don't realize it because you know what I mean. Like you see them every day and then you don't see them for a while. You're like, God damn, these things fucking grow quick.
Or even like you LST a plant and then all the leaves are sideways and you come back 2 hours later and they're all turned back up correctly.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
damn, okay.
Actually, so there's I want to say it's the Asgardian Wedding that I have by BGG. Unfortunately, something pulled it out of like something dug into the city picker and pulled it with the little peat puck that I have, pulled it straight out and it was laying sideways, just right on top of right on top of the soil, and the plant actually started growing up like the top of it started growing up this way. So like when I picked it up, it was straight and then leaning sideways.
Oh,
And
that's
I just
crazy.
took it, I just dug back into the dirt, put it back in, and then a couple days later I looked outside and it was just standing straight up. So, man, these things want to live. They're gonna do whatever they can.
No. So my when we were at the fair last night, like I said, we park at our in-laws' house
Yeah.
and I went out into their backyard and they offered me a small lemon tree.
Okay.
They had 3 lemon trees and 2 lime trees. And they were just
Nice.
in they're in like maybe like 2-gallon pots. Pretty small
Okay.
pots. Maybe 1 gallon.
Yeah.
And they're probably like this big each. Some of them had like long branches, but they weren't very tall.
Oh,
And they offered me one. I forgot to take it, but we're going over their house in a couple weekends
oh, that'd be cool, man. I think that's something that you have to bring in and out.
for
Yeah, no way
a
in the
handful
winter.
of years, I think.
Yeah.
I think once it reaches like actual, if you can get it to like actual like tree size, you can plant it year round.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
But I'm not
Well, that'd be
sure.
cool. Yeah.
But yeah, I
That'd be
figured it could put it on the uh back porch during the
yeah.
summer, and then I could probably move it into the basement during the winter, maybe.
You know who I think I feel like I've heard Captain Autoflower say that he has a lemon tree. He may be the one to bother.
Yeah,
He may
similar
have some
climate.
answers. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk to him about that.
There you go.
Nerd grows.
Oh,
uh so as we wrap up here,
yeah.
we're going to see Coheed and Primus next week.
Or I would say Primus and Coheed, but
Primus Primus is headlining and
yeah.
Coheed's middling, and then the opening band I never heard before, but they're called Gorilla Toss.
Huh. Yeah. No. Never heard of them. Never heard of them. Yeah. I Primus has been one of those bands for me where I started playing music at a really young age, and
Yeah.
10 years old is when I picked up when I knew that I was going to be like I wanted to play bass. My father played bass, and Les Claypool was one of those guys where it was like he was one of my idols that I looked up to, like I want to learn how to play like him. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, we're both
So
bass players as well.
yeah, man, both bass players, absolutely. But yeah, so he's been one of those ones where like I've always loved his style. when it unfortunately it's been a while since I have played. I kind of got out of the groove, and it's very depressing. I mean, just to show you like that. So that was my first tattoo that I ever got.
The bass clef.
Like, yeah, I had to have my mom sign a waiver at the tattoo shop for me to get it. So it's something that I've always loved, and I still mess around with it. But I mean, man, that was it. It was a big part of my life for a long time. So I'm excited to see them. This is the first time I'm ever seeing them, and
Yeah, me
of
too.
course,
I have so first time I heard Primus was on the first Tony Hawk game,
okay, yep,
which actually was like, it wasn't my first introduction to punk rock music. Not that Primus is punk rock, but the Tony Hawk soundtrack was mostly
yep,
punk bands.
yeah,
And I had been listening to punk for a little bit before that, but that was the first time I heard Primus. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. And then around the time, like late middle school, I became obsessed with Buckethead.
oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
Buckethead and Les Claypool have albums together. They had a side band together. So that's
yeah.
where I heard a lot of that. So like I'm not familiar with Primus's like entire catalog that well, but I know like all the big songs, and then I've mostly listened to a lot of like side projects and then stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you'll be excited to hear him and Billy Strings. I'm pretty sure are doing a side project. So I know
Oh,
they play
cool.
shows together. Yeah, I mean everybody knows that I'm a big Billy Strings fan. So I am super stoked to hear hear them together.
Yeah, that's actually a cool pairing.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I've watched. So I actually I pay for the subscription Nugs, and you get to watch. So like you have like say for instance Billy Strings, right? He every show that he plays, they record the show and you can listen back to it. Some of them will actually record the video so you can watch it. But like so last night and the night before he was playing in Bridgeport, Connecticut. So I got to like, even though I didn't go to the show, I could just put my phone up and like I could watch it live. So it's a really
That's
cool
cool.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But there's a lot of bands on there, and of course you're excited because Coheed is one of your favorite bands. So
Oh
it's
yeah.
gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be a really, really cool show, man.
Yeah, this can be I want to say 6th or 7th time seeing Coheed and Cambria.
Oh wow. Yeah, and you like so I had no idea that when you had told me that there's some sort of like there's a story behind each album or something like that where you were
Yeah.
say like it's like a sci-fi type thing. I had no idea about any of that stuff, and that gave me like whole new respect for them.
Yeah, so it's like the first 5 or so albums tell like the main storyline, and then there's 2 albums of a side story which are really cool. It's like a guy essentially travels through outer space to get into like outside of heaven to try to like pull his wife's soul out of it. It's
No kidding. Yeah.
and then he gets trapped in there with all the ghosts and everything. It's so cool. The then after that, I think there's an album that has nothing to do with the story, but the album rips. It's very good. It's called
They're I
the
mean they're great.
color before the sun. And
Yeah,
then
I
now they're about to put out part 3 of their newest set, which I think is going to be
oh
5 albums total. So
wow.
I think they're playing one song off of part 3, but they're playing a bunch of songs off of part 1 and part 2. It's called the Vaxis story, and that's a whole
Wow.
new story line. But yeah, they like if you listen to their albums in order, it tells like an epic Star Wars kind of story.
That's so wild, man. Like you blew my mind when I heard that. It's cool though, and they're great. They're great musicians. Like I said, we've talked about it. I was really into them when they when they started getting really big with that. What was it? The Favorite House in Atlanta? Is it Favorite House in
Favorite
Atlantic?
House
Or
Atlantic, yeah,
yeah, I mean that was really. I mean, like I
just their
remember.
on their second album.
Okay. Yeah. So it was like I remember my thing before school, man, was like I'd sit at the kitchen table and I'd have like MTV on or whatever it was, and
Yeah,
and like all the music videos that were coming out, right? It was like that, and like the yeah yeah yeahs were coming out with like
yep.
different music video. Like it was around like that, like the 2000s, where it was just like, man, I was glued to watching music videos and concerts and stuff like that. So that's what that brings
That
me back
music
to.
video is really funny too. Favorite
What's
House
that?
Atlantic.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
when they're like
I
in the
watched it so
bar.
yeah, it's
So
great, man.
a good example with that song is that sounds like, and it's kind of what's cool about Coheed is that like a lot of the songs double where it has like, oh, to a normal person this sounds like a breakup song, but to someone else this is like this huge spaceship battle kind of thing,
That's
right?
so cool,
And
man. Yeah.
a Favorite House Atlantic's a really good example of that, where um the House Atlantic is like the bad guys fortress kind of thing, and then what, and then so like Good Eye Sniper, I'll shoot and you run. A
Yeah,
lot of
it's like
people took that to be like a breakup line,
okay.
but it's literally a
Like
guy shooting down the
talking to his buddy.
guards,
Yeah,
and you say, "I'll cover you, go!" Like,
that's too cool, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like I said, I would have never thought of any of that. And when you told me that, I was like, get the fuck out of here. No way.
yeah,
But that's cool. I love it.
yeah, I'm
I'm
excited
excited.
for
It's gonna
that.
be a lot of fun.
Have you been to that venue before?
No, I have never been there. Yeah, I haven't really spent much time around that area until I moved up here, a few years ago. So
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're like, it's one of those places. I call them like hippie places where it's like, so it's like the stage and then the seats and then just giant lawn that everyone parties on basically.
yeah,
And I
I like
think
it.
there's what, like 9 of us going,
There's
7
gonna
of
be
us going.
there's gonna be a good amount of us. I think it's gonna be cool, man. And
We'll
these
be
guys,
there with um Ivan Puff Dankoff.
yeah, man.
Will be
Yep,
in attendance.
he's going to greet us with this Russian. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, he'll be cool. Do you have anything else before we head out?
No, man. I think this is a great show, man. I think I've got it all. We got
We did everything
it.
today.
We've
We did
done it.
cover a lot. We covered a lot of ground today.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. All right. So until next time, peace, y'all.
yeah. It's been fun. Later.